Hello and welcome to the Townsends YouTube channel where we focus on everything 18th and early 19th century, especially food. My name is Ryan Kerr. I'll be your host today, and this episode is all about steak. Alright, so I am super excited about this episode because for a long time now I've been looking for the perfect gridiron or grilled steak from the time period. They do a lot of things with meat. They boil meat, they roast meat, they put on a spit. You don't see a ton of gridiron cooking in the cookbooks. At least I haven't come across it. Maybe you have. But this is really special because steak is one of those things that, at least here in the Midwest of North America, everybody has their secrets in how they prepare and cook their steaks, whether it's the seasoning, whether it's the process when they're grilling it. Everybody can tell you, no, this is the best way, or no, this is the best way. And this episode is interesting because John Farley in this London Art of Cookery doesn't do what I would do. And it's fun to kind of grab onto the recipe, stick to it, and see what he's going for, see what they were tasting in the time period and how that differs from what I like to do. Maybe it's better than what I like to do, and we're gonna find out. So like I said, this is John Farley in the London Art of Cookery. It's a fantastic cookbook if you're looking for a first cookbook to start with from the time period. This is a really nice one because it covers a broad spectrum of types of food. This recipe is called beef steaks. The best beef steaks are those cut off a rump and should not be more than ½ an inch in thickness. Rub the gridiron with beef suet and let the fire be clear. When the gridiron be hot, lay your steaks on it and let them broil till they begin to look brown. Then turn them, and when the other side be browned, lay them on a hot dish with a slice of butter between each steak and sprinkle a little pepper and salt over them. Let them stand 2 or 3 minutes, and in the meantime slice a shallot as thin as possible into a spoonful of water. Lay your steaks again on the gridiron and keep them turning till they be enough. Put them on your dish, pour the water and shallot among them, and serve them up. This is going to be really interesting. I've never had this kind of water and shallot sauce before. He's choosing a different kind of steak than I would typically choose at home. But salt, pepper, butter, what can go wrong? It's going to be great. I'm really excited today that we get to cook on a gridiron. This gridiron is a really nice, it's made in the USA. We sell them on the Townsends website. There'll be a link down in the description. They're great for if you've got a German kitchen at home or at the campfire. You know, you can take them to the backyard and you can at least get an 18th century flavor to your food with the smoke and all of that. These are just wonderful pieces. We got to take this beef suet. Now, at home when you're grilling, you might use olive oil or some kind of cooking oil, maybe a little butter. And when it's a little warm or hot, you'll brush that on, and it'll keep your food from sticking to the grate. It also is just really good. When the metal heats up, it'll just kind of soak that in and help season up your gridiron. So we're going to do that real quick. We use a lot of beef suet on the channel. Some recipes you specifically need suet for, especially something like a boiled pudding where you want these pockets that are airy inside of it. But this is really just coating so your meat doesn't stick. If you don't have any beef suet at home, grab some cooking oil, grab some butter, do whatever you need to be able to grill, because that's what we're excited about today. We've got this gridiron nice and coated with our beef suet, so we're just gonna get it on the fire so it can heat up before we put our steaks on. All right, so these are getting seared right now. I've got one side, I flipped them, the other side's getting there. When they're nice and seared, we're gonna take them off. I've got this hot plate sitting next to the fire. We're gonna put them on there, put some butter in between them, and they're gonna soak up some of that butter. All right, so we've got our butter melted. The steaks are seasoned. We've got a really nice sear on them, and they've rested. Now, this is where I, in modern times, would say these steaks are done. They've got a nice rest, and they don't need any more heat, but the recipe calls for them to go back on. So I'm gonna put them on just to kiss them with some heat real quick. I'm not gonna leave them on there for long, and then we'll pull them off and plate them. I have no idea what this sauce I think is gonna taste like. Water, shallots, steaks were done, just dump it on top. So we're gonna see what this is about. I'm gonna get a bite here. This got some shallot, gonna get it in that sauce. It's good. It's really good. The shallot's kind of abrupt. It hits you right away. It's like bam. And the steak is kind of slow to get in. There's not a ton of seasoning on this like maybe we're used to now. Although at home, I'll oftentimes just use salt and pepper and butter. So it's not too far off of what I would normally do. I wouldn't normally put such a strong onion flavor on it, but it's not bad. Especially if maybe you had a couple of side dishes, like a baked potato or something, that some of this the sauce or juice kind of got onto. That made kind of like a whole complete thing going on. But it's not bad at all. I like it quite a bit. I'm gonna get a piece of this steak without any shallot. I tried to follow really close to the recipe, so I didn't put butter on top of it. I put it in between them. Usually when I'm grilling, I'll even put a dollop of butter on top of the side that's up while it's grilling, and it really pulls that flavor in. And I didn't salt and pepper. So this is strange. It calls for doing salt and pepper after you've seared it. Normally, I would really season those things before the sear too. So there's a lot of kind of different things going on in this. I don't think that the steak is as flavorful as I would kind of force it to be at home, but you really get a good steak flavor here. We've got a nice cook on it. It might be a little bit more well than I typically would, but I mean, it's definitely a medium. It looks good. So yeah, all in all, I think that this is a really great recipe to try at home. If you've never made steak before, sometimes that's intimidating, right? So if you've never made steak before, this is easy, and you don't have to have a gridiron, you don't have to have a fire. Grab your cast iron skillet, get it hot, get a good sear on there, and you can have this dish in your kitchen. That's what this show's all about. Us going through, looking into history, seeing what these recipes are like, seeing what they were eating, and then giving them a try so we can have a better understanding of history. I encourage you to give this a try. It's really good. I just now had the perfect bite, and it was really good. I think that you have to make sure to really get that sauce in your steak. You gotta cut it and rub it around in that sauce so that it really comes through, because that's pretty complex. And when that mixes with the steak flavor, and not a whole piece of shallot, but that shallot in the water, that's pretty special stuff. Like I said, my name is Ryan Kerr. You will see me on this YouTube channel from time to time. I have my own cooking show called Unpacking the Pantry on Townsends Plus. If you're interested in seeing more about Townsends Plus, there's a link in the description. And if you would like to see more open fire meat recipes, check out this video. Have a great day.